Today we're back to talking about the Star Wars RPG with a Consular specialization overview and guide, I guess? Whatever you want to call it. Arbiter is what we're talking about today. So the Arbiter is sort of a talker with a little bit of combat thrown in. They're I think the only one besides Neomon Disciple from the Force and Destiny core book, which gets lightsaber as a career skill natively. There is at least one other, which we'll talk about later, which can get it in a different way, but just natively as a career skill to where you can get that free rank at creation. It's the only one aside from Neomon Disciple. Let's just quickly go over the offensive stuff, aspects to the character. There's a little bit of grit and toughened, parry and reflect. Not a lot, not to the point to where I would think like, oh, that's a combat character. It's solid, I guess. As far as combat goes, it's basically two talents. Improve Sunder. Okay, can we... Show of hands, and I'll know if you're lying. Show of hands if you weren't confused and spent like 5 minutes looking for just the basic Sunder talent. There is no basic Sunder talent. It's referring to Sunder, the weapon quality. This improves upon it. That's why it's called Improved Sunder. But why would they do that? The format is, you know, like a basic, just regular named version of it, and then there might be an improved version, and then supreme version. And so when you have an improved version, but not the basic version, that's confusing. Now I feel dumb. Thanks a lot, Fantasy Flight. Shattering my self-esteem. Improve Sunder. You sunder better. You have an easier time more quickly breaking stuff. And you do it better with Sunder. Lightsabers naturally have Sunder, but other weapons can have it, and maybe you can get it from other places. So in a fight, at the very least, just get in there, break some stuff, move over here, break some stuff. If they got a big powerful gun, a big Gatling gun, or something really annoying. Get in there, break the enemy's thing, and get out. Aggressive Negotiations is the other big combat talent where basically you do a lightsaber check and you have a chance of making it easier to do negotiation checks for that encounter, which I would love to open with that. You sit down at a table for negotiations, someone sits down, oh, I'm glad you could meet with me, Master Jedi. Hopefully we can reach a amicable solution to blah, blah, blah. And then you just take out your lightsaber and cut the table in half and like, yes, I hope we can as well. Or maybe you could fight... And then you fight so good, you swing your lightsaber so good, attacking a guard, and then on your next turn, you do a negotiation check to try to defuse the situation or stop the fight in the middle of the fight. Hard lightsaber check. Is it definitely... I feel like it would definitely be an attack, right? It's an attack on someone, or is it just a lightsaber check, but not necessarily an attack component? I wish I still had the book. Apparently my notes were not good enough. There's a talent or two where it's like, how does that really work? So I'm sorry, I'm bad at this. But no one else is doing it, so, you know, quit your bitching. Maybe someone who has the book can fill in if I'm describing a talent wrong. But I'm pretty sure you attack and then it can help you with negotiation checks, which will help you if maybe there's a talent in the game from another tree, which you can do a negotiation check to buff allies or whatever, or... with something we have here, Improved Savvy Negotiator. First of all, we have a basic version, which will help you with some talking checks, but also navigating the criminal underworld. Got a couple ranks of that. And then the improved version, where you do a negotiation check. I forgot what it does. Oh, if you're having a talkie with someone else, you can have like a bystander. You can sort of win them over to your side. You can be like, can you believe this douchebag? Convince a bystander that what the guy you're talking to is saying has like a malicious intent to it. So you can kind of turn them against him, not necessarily to get him to like fight him or something, although maybe, but at the very least like turn him against. Maybe if you're talking to a Hutt, you can convince the bodyguard to turn on him. That could be fun. I like that. Another interesting one we have, I guess it's kind of like change the scene, or like one of those which I typically hate, where you can just sort of rewrite the Matrix in a way. Here's a bit of reality that's different because I say so. Where basically you can introduce a concession into the argument that this person just cannot do without, and so it's easier to convince them to do whatever it is you want to do. I'm sure the description has more insight into how this works specifically, which again, I don't have. I'm sorry, I'm bad at this, but I'm all you got. Tough titty. But at the very least, it feels very thematic to a talker. It's not just, well, I can rewrite the scene in any way I want because I have a talent that allows me to, or because the game allows me to, or whatever. It's, I'm a talker and I'm really good at talking, so I can rewrite the Matrix in a specific way, so I don't know, it feels less cheap and stupid. I like it. That's not bad. What else we got? Defense against force powers. someone targets you with a force power, you can make it a bit more difficult for them. We also have defense against talking. Someone targets you with a talking check. You have some basic defense against that. Actually, more than I thought. It's solid, really solid talking defense. And we have some decent help with your talking checks. A big emphasis on negotiation, but we do have a variety in the passive help and also some active help. There's one active talent, which I like that style. It just makes you more likely to succeed in a way I like to see. And that's about it. Okay, so when building your Arbiter, negotiation is going to be really important, talking in general. So presence, of course, should be one of your big stats, so at least a 3, probably want to go with a 4. The will also can't hurt. Will can help you with some of your talking defense in general, as well as one of your talking skills, but mostly, like most talkers, focus on presence. Negotiation is going to be your bread and butter, also charm to a lesser extent. That's mostly your area, so presence is going to be important, will to a lesser extent. You might as well kind of steer into the combat aspect, I guess, although saying there's a combat aspect to them, it's not saying much. Talk a lot. If talking doesn't work, get in there, break stuff, and kind of keep your distance. That's your main style. I guess brawn is fine. It'll keep you defensive, and also you can attack because lightsaber by default is based off brawn. So that combined with lightsaber as a career skill, you can most efficiently be solid in combat and not die, which is good. No one wants to die, except me after I've filmed 5 videos. Personally, I like a 4-4 build. Make me a big, beefy negotiator, a big mountain of a person who's good at talking and stabbing. That sounds fun. 4 brawn, 4 presence. Not 2 stats you typically think of pairing together, but that sounds fun. Also a 4-3-3 with 4 in your presence and then 3 in combat and will. That's not a bad way to go. But also, there's no reason not to if you want to. Dip into something that has a technique. One of the lightsaber forms, like Neemon from Consular. Get that second tier lightsaber technique, whatever it's called, and then you can use an alternate stat to brawn. Neemon works because it's based off will. Will is good for talkers. Kind of makes sense. Presence and will. Supplement it with Neemon and you'll be talking, you'll be stabbing. I think Neemon even has some talking ingrained. That would be a good pairing, I think. So that's how you might build it. Do you want to build it? Do you want to play it? I'll be honest, as a combat talker, in one tree, I guess it's kind of fine. If there's one more, like, attacking, damaging talent in here somewhere, like, once in a blue moon you could do more damage or whatever when you attack. Yes, but without that, I see it more really shining when you supplement it with another tree, at which point, I would rather just take more of a pure talker consular, like, was it Sage one? Wasn't that like a talker knowledge guy? I think they could be comparable of a talker to this person, for the most part. Although some of the talking talents in here are really interesting. You might want to stick with that, but I think maybe having a talker tree paired with Neemon Disciple might be a more enjoyable way of getting the combat talker than this. But this is more efficient, I guess. I don't know. The deal manipulation is the most interesting. Getting someone else to sort of turn against the person you're talking to, or here's something you really want. Maybe you could make something up. Like, apparently they just cannot get enough of Nala tree frogs from the homeworld, and so, I have a whole shipment of them. Maybe there's that level of reality manipulation allowed in this to kind of rewrite the story in fun, interesting ways. It's alright. It's not a bad tree to play, but I would say there's better ones. That's it for today. Next time we're going to talk about the, not that one because I haven't figured out how to pronounce it yet. We'll talk about the teacher. I do like the teacher. I got better things to say about the teacher. See you then.